So since the last album, a lot of stuff has happened. During the recording of the last album, I had to have surgery on my voice to remove polyps. So I released that album, released Salt. The previous album was a lot more introspective. You know, I was actually very bitter about the music industry in general and how it works. You know, I kind of just felt like we were just all musos, regardless of what situation you're in, we were just court jesters doing our thing for the benefit of everyone else around you except for yourself. When you write songs from that headspace, they can maybe become very introspective and maybe a little bit somber and down tempo. And I was really mostly resisting my natural leaning, which is to kind of write songs with pop sensibility. It was still very melodic and melody driven, but I was going against my natural instincts, which generally leans towards kind of ensuring some pop sensibility.
With optimistic heart.
This album certainly has some of that pop sensibility. It's probably a bit more rocky, which quite possibly maybe Theo's influence. And the previous album, you know, I played 90% of the instruments. Brendan obviously added violin and some keyboard. Even the beats were created collectively with me and Brendan. And we later got in the drummer just to kind of replicate those beats.
Diving like there's something hard. She said, I'll pick you up if you wanna get lucky. I said that I don't know, it's been a while since I've been lucky.
This time I was more open to letting other people add their flavor, like Rob and Nick and Trevor and Eden. And there's the co-write songs with Nick Olsen from Perez. There's a song I wrote with an American girl named Tristan at a songwriting retreat 3 years ago in Mexico. And we got put in a room right on the beach. Prior to our session, some of the songwriters had gone to swim in these underground caves in Tulum. And I saw pictures and it looked amazing. And it kind of triggered a cool title for a song, Swimming with the Saints. It's quite funny, in the demo you actually hear crapping on me because I'm getting it wrong.
You've been doing it right, so I know that you know it.
No, it's just weird.
It happens.
Anyway, you'll hear the full song later. I'm not surprised to find that I've been lost, and now I find
The loving you comes without a cost. I'm not surprised to see that I've been blind, but now I see loving you isn't lost on me.
Yeah, and also in the last year I learned how to ride a motorbike. Very fortunate to have Harley Davidson give me a bike. Watch the space. Either you'll see me tearing up the highways, or you'll come visit me in hospital. I don't know. Let's hope it's the former, not the latter. Some really exciting things happened. I had my first child, Jackson, Milo. I remember taking my son Jackson, probably on one of his first holidays actually. We initially went to Sabi, and then we went to Umhlanga. I always just take my guitar along in case there's some downtime and inspiration hits. Probably when he was taking one of his naps, I kind of softly sang this song.
Rhythm of the night, come on now darling. Rhythm of the night, come on. Rhythm of the night, come on now darling. Allow the man who pays dues and pride.
Rhythm of the Night is actually the sounds of the bush, which is an amazing experience. You know, when you're sleeping at night and you don't hear traffic and you don't hear civilization, but you hear the true wild. You know, the song certainly did take lyrically a different path but ultimately the title was drawn from actually spending time in the bush.
So take my hand, do that road. Take a bow before she melts into the light.
Delicious.
Can you hear them calling out your name? Can you hear them calling? Can you hear them singing? Can you hear them sing? You don't know what the fuss is all about, but the headlines say you've earned their respect. Can you hear them calling your name?
I was selected to be a coach on Voice South Africa. It was a really rewarding experience and a great time interacting with the other coaches, which are all really cool human beings. Also meeting some uber super talent. And yeah, I think I was very lucky with a little bit of strategy involved to have picked the winner and to be on the winning team with Richard Sturton.
Sold, you never hear. Good voice, sir. Staring at the scene of pride and crushed beneath. And I told you to be patient, and I told you to be fine, and I told you to be balanced, and I told you to be kind, and now all your love was wasted, but who the hell was I?
In the pitches, I didn't know who I was going to choose because I respected all the coaches, like, respectively for what they did, but then Kahn said the word inspire, and he wanted to make music with me that would inspire, and that's why I wanted to start music in the first place. Since the show, he's gone out of his way, to help me with my career. The first weekend after The Voice ended, he put me on 3 of his shows just halfway through and said, go play a couple of songs, just remind people that you're here. And he's always treated me like a friend. I really do see him as a friend, and he's just a genuinely good person that just cares. I was very lucky to have the opportunity to work with him.
And in that, obviously, I've spent the last year or so writing songs for this new project and recording it. I got certain vocalists. I got one of my teammates from The Voice, Eden Murr, to do a lot of female backing vocals and nice glitter.
Tomorrow doesn't exist like it doesn't exist, and I'm gonna fly like a bird through the night, open my tears goodbye.
She is a phenomenal singer. She can do any octave, any harmony with her voice, and she's always pitch perfect, and I think she's got an amazing tone. So I was very fortunate to have her agree to work on the album, and yeah, I think it adds quite a cool flavour. It's almost 80s with a little bit of gospel sprinkled.
I love what he does and what he has done for South African music.
This time I've worked with quite a few musicians. I've worked with Mike Goddard on drums. I've always been a big fan of Perez, and I've been a big fan of his style of drumming. I think it's very tasteful, and yeah, he's got a cool vibe.
Kahn is, I'm sure he's from another planet. I'm sure he's an alien, because he's this incredibly talented singer, amazingly accurate vocals, brilliant songwriter, amazing lyricist, and he's very sincere about everything he does.
Yeah, Theo and I did pretty much the rest of the music, except Rob played a lot of the key parts, piano and synth, I'm getting Trevor to do some backing vocals on some of the songs because he does the backing vocals live, so it makes sense. Nick and I wrote some songs together for this project, two of them which eventually ended on the album, Goodbye Annie and Lucky. So I got him to play piano on Goodbye Annie.
The streets are full with pure lost. Flick, 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 a neon city lost.
Corin Zoid and I wrote a song together. We were working together doing the voice, became good friends, and we kind of put the idea out there, or the notion that we should work on a song together. One morning my son Jackson had woken up early, like 4 a.m. and I was kind of sitting playing with him, and he was doing something silly, and I was like, oh, he's such a clown. And then it kind of, this melody and these lyrics started floating around in my head. Grabbed an acoustic and I quickly made a voice note on my phone and kind of sang, there's clowns in the city, there's clowns making rules. You and me, darling, see the humor in it all. In the short, sweet life, honey, we could be divine. Kind of put a second verse on and then sent that to Corin. She was like, it sounds awesome. And then we obviously embellished and worked on the song together.
They pretend to get along.
We are about to record our very first song that we've written together here at Velvet Studios. This is a historic moment. We are going to record a song called
We Could Be Divine. Ask Theo, he knows the words.
How does it go, Theo?
It says, we could be divine. We could be divine. We could be divine. We could be divine.
Is that how it goes?
Pretty much. It has turned out to be a masterpiece. And I just like that sort of line that in the short sweet life, honey, we can be divine. It's got a nice ring to it. Yeah. Whoa. The music video that Corin and I shot for We Could Be Divine. The concept is Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, like a Tim Burton-esque kind of feel, without the Tim Burton budget. And quite a funny story actually. It was all going to be shot on green screen, and then the night before she got a crazy star, like a big, it's like I looked like she'd been beaten. I was like, oh no. So we decided, okay, it's cool, just wear sunglasses. That's why she's rocking sunglasses in the music video, but it kind of has a funky feel to it. So that wasn't without its hurdles, but the end result was rad. And you will hear a lot of ambient noises in the background. Part of the ambient noise is Rob clamoring on a MIDI keyboard. Part of the high-pitched noise you hear is my son practicing his vocals. So I've kind of lost my ability to sing that really high part in Giant Mistake. So that's my son in the background. I guess he will be doing them for me. It's funny, yeah.
A girl named Paris, she's so great.
I don't know if this is a true story, if it's urban legend or whatever, but allegedly once someone asked Jimi Hendrix, said, hey Jimmy, so what's your girlfriend's name? And he said, the name is Paris, New York, London, kind of suggesting that he knows none of his girlfriends' names. He just attaches a face to a city and has them all over the world. I chose Theo as producer. I don't know. I guess I'm a creature of habit, and I've obviously worked with him many times in the past. Sometimes it's been quite frustrating, but he's really an amazing producer and engineer. He's arguably got the best gear in studio in the country. I'd done the previous project with Brendan, and I kind of wanted to see what Theo could do with me as a solo artist. And he'd sorted out all his personal issues. So what's been very cool about this project is he's been very present.
I've probably known Kahn for about probably 17 years, I think, if I'm right. Creatively, we understand each other. On this album, Kahn asked me if I wanted to produce the album. I think he did the previous one in Johannesburg with Brendan Jury. It might have been his fears going into the previous album, and the reason he did it somewhere else is maybe he was afraid that the stuff would sound like Parlotones, because I've done most of the Parlotone stuff with him.
Lay, 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 lay down. Lay, lay, lay down.
We want to not make a Parlotones album, we want to make Kahn solo album. And a lot of the stuff is influenced by, even Kahn is influenced by other types of artists, like very singer-songwriter type of stuff, you know, old Elton John, not Norma Jean Elton John, more like 70s Elton John. Or Beatles. We kind of strayed completely from what the Parlotones sound is, and I don't even think it was purposefully planned. I just think the album lends itself to singer-songwriter kind of production, so we just naturally went that way.
Getting in the next song's beat.
Ja, lekker. Ja, lekker julle.
Bright lights at the end of the street, the end of the street.
Yeah, so this is kind of the creative space. This is where, look, I don't only write in this space, I write everywhere around my house, on the road, in my car, in the shower. That's a continuous process that's not confined to a zip code or a space, you know. But in terms of documenting demos, if I'm on the road, I'll sometimes just do it on my phone as a voice note, and then but if I want to make it a slightly better demo, because the idea is that sometimes you capture a moment that you then go and try to replicate in studio, and it's not, often that little magic isn't there. So you want to try and get the best possible demo at that moment that you can use elements of when it comes to true recording process. So that's what I do here. And then Theo, the producer, will obviously listen to those tracks, and he'll often draw from them some vocals or some guitars, or, you know, whatever piano line or whatever I might have done, and he'll bring that into the session, because, you know, there was a certain essence that sometimes you forget what you did. You know, you were just kind of there being creative, and something inspired something. 3 months later, you decide to start recording, and you're like, oh, I don't really know what I did, or that's why the demos kind of happen in this space.
Normally Kahn has a very clear idea of how he wants the song to sound, so I kind of take a lot from the pre-production aspect of what he's already recorded at his home studio, and then we kind of fill in the blanks over here and see whether the song needs to be faster, slower, whether the structure is right, whether the chorus is all working, whether the drum parts are correct for the choruses and the guitar parts. And Kahn's got a brilliant piano player, Rob, that works with him, that attributed a lot to the album, I think. Creatively, he did a lot to I think, give the album a unique identity.
I like this. What about this?
Yeah, that's better. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. There we go. Okay, cool. Sometimes I'm trying to stretch myself as a musician, and then based on that I'll kind of write a song around a new skill that I may have acquired. A song like Vacancy. I also wanted to be more creative from a lead guitar perspective, so I'll kind of like lay down a bed of music like this on a guitar, very simple. And then I'll try to put something more creative on guitar wise, like
I'm just a bag of bones feeling numb in my heart and soul. I wanna feel inside love, it's impossible with the self-heart.
It's wonderful to see how he can transmit that energy of a live performance over to a studio performance, which is a very cool aspect of Kahn's vocal performance. Like, a lot of singers get into the studio and they're very aware of the fact that they're alone and they might just be singing to you and not to, and you know, there's a certain energy that you get from playing or singing in front of a crowd. To translate what you feel into your performance in one go. It's a very hard thing to master, and I think it's an art form that is not very present in recent times, just because of the recording process. You can drop in, you can tune vocals, you can put effects on it, you can really go to town if you want to.
Throughout my journey in life, I've always favored working in a team. You know, I think it's just the camaraderie that I enjoy. You know, it's the collective. It's just the, you know, I'm excited by a group of people getting together on the same page and working towards something, even if it's just for a good time. You're working towards a good time. You tap into that energy, it makes it exciting. I've always loved being in a band, and even though this is a solo project, I kind of have done the same thing by bringing in other musicians to recreate that type of scenario. And of course I have other musicians that I tour with. There's still that sense of camaraderie and collectiveness. It's just with a different bunch of people. You know, I am now a father. I don't think I'm as blindly ambitious. I'm still ambitious, but now it needs to have purpose. So there was a calculator called Sensibility. I'll punch the concept of time away from home into the sensibility calculator, and if it doesn't make sense, then I don't do it.
With optimistic eyes.